Well, hello everybody, and welcome to. It's been a while, hasn't it? Yeah, the weekly steel chair doing a little bit of a return show tonight, as we've got quite a heavy month coming up. I hope you all have missed the show because I've got a quiz to bring to you guys. Yeah, you heard me correctly. I said a quiz. Tonight's show, of course, is about the ending of something and the return of something new. As you guys know, love of all wrestling, really, but one particular organization that stands out for me is Impact, formerly known as TNA. Well, that's returning very soon. So, month from next week, actually, your position will return. Tonight is your final resolution preview. We're going to get through that, discuss a few things regarding TNA, like some like Impact, some news. Obviously, that's come out. So we're going to go through that. Any questions you guys have, I'll answer as best I can. I'll give you as much information that I've got, that I've seen, and we'll just have a damn good show, won't we? Because that's what it's all about. It's about having fun. So, we are, of course, live on YouTube and on Twitch. So, if you are watching on YouTube, please do like, share, and subscribe to the Weekly Steel Chair. Also, tell me how my sound is, because if my sound is awful, then I might have to fix a few things. It might be the fact that I've got an amazing green screen, and I'm actually just going, well, not really a green screen, but it's one of my edits. But you know what I'm actually going to do? I'm just going to remove it. So I'm going to go into blur mode. There we go. I think that'll help. That'll make performance better. Yeah, that's better. Let me just do a quick sound check on my phone. 1 second. So I've got my phone in the background. So let me just do a quick sound check. Sounds fine. Right. Let's get on with it. Let's go on with tonight's show. So, we have 8 matches to preview, some news, and any questions plus a few announcements. So the first announcement, obviously, is she hasn't been on the show in a wee while, Ailey, but we will be getting her back on very soon. It's not that I wasn't wanting anyone on the show or anything like that. It's just that when I've been doing ins and outs, I've just been doing short things on my own, and I don't think that's very fair for anyone that's watching. I don't think it's fair if I'm just doing short things on my own to just bring people into that, and it doesn't really fit them, then it's not fair. So I'm going to bring Ailey back on from next week. Then we've got the quiz, which will close the end of the year as well. So don't worry about that. What I will say, though, is I'm looking forward to just getting Ailey's opinion on a few things wrestling-wise. And they'll be bringing back a few special guests as well that we've not seen in some time. Tonight's stream is also sponsored by Iron Brew and Pepsi Max. So whatever you want, drink it. But drop your comments in, guys. Let's get your comments in. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button as well, and share this stream because there's stuff I want to talk about. And first things first. So, as of if you are an Impact Plus subscriber, for example, Impact Plus will rebrand on the 14th of December. A special offer will be presented to any and all users of the service. And this is because, funnily enough, Impact have, soon to be TNA, as of January 23rd, have negotiated with Endeavour, which is the parent company of TKO through WWE, to use their streaming platform. So, and that starts from January 5th. So you'll get an update next week regarding this if you're an Impact Plus user and subscriber. That will reflect from January 5th, but you will get an offer for that on the 14th when the app rebrands. Also, tonight at Final Resolution, during the pay-per-view, it's likely to be during the pre-show, because there is a match we're going to preview as well from the pre-show, ironically. We will find out who Will Ospreay will face in January, which is the Snake Eyes event, which is the follow-up to Hard to Kill, which is the first pay-per-view of the TNA branding and the first pay-per-view of 2024. That I'm eager to see. When you look on the variety of talent on the roster, he's already done Speedball Mike Bailey and he's done Josh Alexander. So with that, there is possibility that maybe he takes on Moose. Moose is in the World Championship match the night before, Hard to Kill in the main event. There's a chance he faces Chris Sabin. There's chances he could go up against a Trey Miguel, for example, completely under the radar talent who's fantastic. But it all stems from what will they look to get from it? Because obviously, Will Ospreay is an AEW signed talent. So we do have that signing board for Impact. They have Will Ospreay for Snake Eyes. So that match will get announced tonight. Will Ospreay's opponent for Snake Eyes will get announced tonight. Also, on the recent episode of Impact, which was live from Monterrey, Mexico, because that was a cross-promotional show between Impact and AAA, they announced that for Snake Eyes as well, the best wrestler on the planet, Kazuchika Okada, will be returning to TNA in 2024. He will also be on the Snake Eyes show. So January 24th, Kazuchika Okada will be back in TNA, and I'm hoping one or two Okato references. If you know who Okato is, drop the comments in, because that's an absolute old school classic of Carnage. Niall's in the chat at 5 to 9. Hello, Niall. How you doing? Certainly going to be here. We'll be here for about an hour and a half. So just get your comments in, like, share, and subscribe, and just get this all round, just so people can come join me. And that'll be the last time I need to say those words tonight. Right. Additionally, another big update, of course, this is a negative for the organization, but it could still return to a positive. We'll see. As of 2024, Deonna Purrazzo is leaving Impact Wrestling, / TNA. She's leaving the organization. Her contract expires. They've yet to come to any form of negotiations for a new contract, so there is potential that Deonna will not be re-signed. This is a big loss, especially from their women's division, who have taken a whole new level with this talent in particular. She's thrived since she's joined the organization during 2021. She was there it was 2020, sorry. She was there all the way for the lockdown period. She carried the organization from the women's side in 2021. The feuds with Mickie James, for example, the work there with Gail Kim, the work with Jordynne Grace, Tasha Steelz, Giselle Shaw. Like, she's had all that. And she was also on the Impact 1000 show. She had she was part of that 35-minute historic segment. That's another important thing as well, is like, you're a three-time champion, you're involved in the division, you're one of the top stars, and you're going to do free agency. For me personally, I would like her to stay, continue to further develop the organization, especially when the fact that the whole Endeavour part is coming around. It'll give a sense that they're actually taking it to the next level, especially when they go to bigger and better arenas. It's a sense that you should try and continue to further it. But obviously, she deserves to go and work in She wants to go work in AEW. She wants to go work in WWE. She's doing the free agent route, so she's going through each and every organization, similar to what Will Ospreay's doing, even though Will Ospreay was signed to New Japan at the time. There's a similarity to that. So that sense there that, are we going to get something? Yes. Me personally, I would like her to stay in TNA, but still go and do those shows elsewhere. Like, you know what I mean? Like, she can be that type of talent that can go and try and improve other divisions, other women's wrestlers, and give them a platform to step up a bit. I would like to see that from Deonna in that way. Me personally, I want her to stay where she is. I want her to re-sign, and I hope she does. And I hope the TNA talent actually get re-signed to long-term better contracts as well in the new year, because there's a good roster there that you can build around. The likes of Josh Alexander, who's one of the best wrestlers in the world. If you don't think he is, you're fucking deluded. Speedball Mike Bailey is an excellent athletic wrestler. And obviously he does work in a similar sense to the high-flying style. He's another one you can build around. ABC, fantastic tag team. We'll be coming to them very shortly when we preview the tag team title match. There's that level of quality. And the women's side as well, you've got Taylor Wilde, who's still thriving as a veteran. You've got Kylan King. You have Jordan Grace, who I've mentioned before. Tasha Steeles. Mickey James is still around. Gail Kim is a leader who's learning. Get experience from. Deonna's there until she moves on. It's a balance of veteran and youngster. And there's still talent like Leon Slater to come in as well. Like, to officially come in the organization like very soon. That's the key. That's the key to an organization thriving in the years to come. So we are going to get into it, and I'm just going to say this now. The match number 2 on the entire card, actually the main event. So I'm just going to share my screen. So just bear this in mind. Match 2 is the main event. So let me just share screen. We have 2 title matches on this card. Put me on the bigger screen. I'm just fixing this a little bit. Sorry, my apologies. There we go. So we have an 8-match card. 1 match on the pre-show. A relatively unknown talent as well, which is good. Knockouts tag team title, a Knockouts tag match. The Knockouts tag team titles aren't on the line. That's totally different opposition, although frankly they should be there. But that's business. There's reasons for that. So, first match preview card. So you got the veteran Frankie Kazarian versus Sheldon Jean. Now, Sheldon, hardworking talent, is going to get a rub because you're in there with an original of the organization, like especially from a TNA and Impact perspective. Frankie Kazarian has been in the organization since day one. Now, he did go to AEW during AEW's inception. He was there with the likes of Christopher Daniels and Scorpio Sky as a trio, and that worked. Obviously, that was also in Ring of Honor. And you stick with that familiarity of what you know, and that's not a criminal sense of it. You actually go with what you know because it will elevate yourself as a talent. I hate that fucking word, but it's effective in that sense. So, in this match in general, do I expect Sheldon Jean to put in some offense? Yes. Do I think Sheldon Jean is going to get the win? Absolutely not. I'm going to go on this one that we get about, since a preview of a pre-show match, I'd say, as they discuss it, Will Ospreay's opponent being announced is likely to get a lot of discussion as well. I think you'll get maybe 10 to 12 minutes out of this one. A couple of near falls, fast pace. The veteran obviously will be leading the younger talent in Sheldon, so I will expect that as well, especially going to 2024, where I think Kazarian's going to have one of the best years of his career. I'm going Frankie Kazarian gets the win by pinfall. Match number 2, I'm actually going to put that at the end because that is actually the main event of the pay-per-view. So I'm not going to talk about match number 2. Like, that's not happening. So we are going to go on to match number 3 instead. So championship match, Impact Digital Media Championship. So this is like the, as it says it is, it's digital media. It's purely from a social platform title. That's what it's for. But at the moment, it's currently with Tommy Dreamer. The previous champion, Kenny King, has now left the organization. He's gone elsewhere. He's taken a punt on himself again, rightfully so, and I hope he does well. Tommy Dreamer, of course, won the return match, and he will now face Diener. Now, Diener was in the organization back in 2008-2009, as he was Cody Diener at the time. A little bit of a weirdo, and I mean that in the greatest respect. His gimmick was a complete weirdo. And when he was at the time, he was trying to win the affection of ODB as part of a storyline. Eventually, they became a pairing together on screen, and it eventually, funnily enough, led to a Knockouts title match where Diener was the defending champion of the women's division versus ODB, and he took a perfect TKO, and lost. Now, obviously, that was a hillbilly type gimmick, and it made sense for him, but it wasn't going anywhere. Like, he wasn't getting anything out of it. So, like many other talent, he left, he went elsewhere, furthered himself. He came back to Impact several years ago. A little bit more of an aggressive demeanor. See what I mean? Diener, the demeanor. So, his character changed, more aggressive, more hostile, and he was more unpredictable to deal with, and just how we facilitate him as a pro wrestler and just what will we see from him, because he has a mixture of style. He can work a hardcore-esque match, or he can just work a wrestling match. And when you're coming in where they are two veterans. Let's be real. This is a older, experienced matchup where you've got Tommy Dreamer, who's a defending champion. Should Tommy Dreamer be a defending champion in 2023 going into 2024? No, he shouldn't. Theoretically, no. He should be a very good, as he already is, locker room leader, praised influence, and will help younger talent get over. And that is, in a nutshell, what Tommy has also been doing during his matches. Now, his previous title defense for the social media, well, the digital media, like it is social media, that's what it is, but it's just called digital media. The digital media title, last title defense that we had was Dreamer versus Crazy Steve. And that ended with a disqualification win. So again, no title change, but theoretically, this title isn't realistically needed in the organization, and that's coming from me. I know it's a fan's favorite, but I don't think it's needed, you know? I think we can get so much from this match just by it being two veterans going up against each other in a sense of pride. Pride for who is the better veteran, like who's the better wrestler, who's the better worker, who is the one that you'd like to say, well, this person's actually the ideal candidate to wrestle who should be the digital media champion. You know what I mean? You're not getting it from this. Now, in the final pay-per-view of the year, the one thing I do not want to see in this match, at any point, I do not want to see this go to an extreme sense, because this is not a no disqualification match. I do not want to see a match end in a draw, and I do not want to see this end in a disqualification. Excuse me. I want there to be a decisive winner in this match going into the new year when the rebrand comes around, because ideally that's what you want. You want to see it go to the next level. You want it to work in the best way possible, that the fans are going to continue to buy into this championship, because at the end of the day, it's been a good championship. I just think we don't really need it anymore for different reasons. The reason I think it's different is because we have other titles that are better. Let's be real, there are better ones. So I'm just going to note down my predictions. So I'm saving the Machine Guns versus Alexander and Zack Sabre Jr. till last. So I've got Kazarian to win. And then for Dreamer versus Diener, I'm going to go for a Dreamer title defense. And then you'll get the win with the patented Dreamer DT. It's DDT. The next match we're going to preview is the man who returned several months ago at Slammiversary, and that's Jake Something. Jake Something returned at Slammiversary, where he was a part of the infamous match that many people which kind of ironically brought the fan base together from a TNA Impact perspective, or NWA TNA Impact Wrestling, back to TNA Ultimate X. He was a mystery entrant at the very end. Wasn't announced. It was kept quiet. He didn't win, but he had a standout returning performance to the company as well. That match obviously was infamous for the 25 feet moonsault that Speedball Mike Bailey did. We'll come on to Mike Bailey very soon. This match in a nutshell was fantastic. It then led to Jake Something's best match of his entire career, and that was soon after, when, funnily enough, on pay-per-view, he would then face IWGP World Heavyweight Champion Sanada. He lost to Sanada, so the title was on the line. He did lose, but it was actually the match, in my opinion, that really stood out for Jake in his career. Something you can build a division behind, or you can focus a division around. And I like that from Jake Something. Like, he's a very physical presence. Powerful, fast, good technical ability, but he's an overall powerhouse. He was recently in the Call Your Shot Gauntlet match. That was at Bound for Glory. He was the first entrant. He was eliminated. That was eventually won by Jordynne Grace, and we'll come to Jordynne Grace soon, because obviously there's ramifications for her winning the Call Your Shot. So Jake Something was eliminated from that, even though he was one of the final five participants. Sorry, my apologies. So performance-wise, obviously, Jake does have pedigree, and he has time on his side in terms of a match he can perform. Now, Jason Hotch, on the other hand, is quick burst, high impact moves. Good worker, but he hasn't taken himself up to another level yet. So he's still going at a solid pace, good level, but he hasn't raised his game yet. Now, by having him a match with Jake Something, he will have that chance to take himself to that level. Will he or won't he? Ironically, that is the question. And I think he will. I think he will, and I'm going to flip myself, so I'm going to go up here. If it lets me. Come on. Let me swap, come on. I want in there. If it lets me, I'll be happy. I'm trying to go into this small box so I can put this big one here. I guess not. Oh, we'll do it this way then. There we go. That's better. That's better. Okay, so that's me fanning about with the screen too long. And I'm Scottish, so I don't apologise for the language. Okay. So, back to where I was talking about Jake something. So, Jake something is the ideal candidate where he has worked consistently well since he's returned to the organisation. You can give somebody good matches and it'll help someone get over. Because at the end of the day, that's the importance of wrestling. It's about getting over with the crowd. Jake something is already over. So I don't need to worry about that. It's Jason Hotch. I want him to get over because I think in the new year, Jason Hotch has the making to be a very good X Division champion or be serious candidate for it. Obviously, there's another candidate who's not on the show that I would have liked to have seen in this environment. That's Alan Angels. But that's fine by me. Again, Alan Angels could be the opponent for Will Ospreay as well, which would be incredible. That would be incredible. But I don't see it. But what I do see though is a Jake something win. Okay. Right. We're moving on. Now we're going to talk about, if you've ever played a video game before, you know that you can get cheat codes. There are several matches on this card that I would define as cheat code, or has the makings to be a cheat code because of the talent involved, the ability, how they work a match, and also their ability to tell a story. Mike Bailey versus Trey Miguel is the cheat code. It's one of the two, potentially three, because there's two phenomenal tag talents coming up towards the second portion. So certainly be worth that for a watch. So Mike Bailey versus Trey Miguel. Mike Bailey and Trey Miguel have several things in common. One, high impact style. Two, they work very, very good technical matches with the high offense of a high flying talent, hence the X Division. Three, good technical wrestlers. And four, long running history of a feud between them gives you a sense that we're actually going to get treated to something like a throwback. Now I am thinking, and ironically it was Trey Miguel that ended Mike Bailey's X Division title reign at one point as well. In terms of head to head, Trey Miguel has the advantage. In terms of percentage to win, it might be 50-50 because it's one-on-one, but the odds are in Trey Miguel's favour because Trey Miguel will have the Rascals, his faction mates. They will be at final resolution, so Mike Bailey will be significantly outnumbered if things go to hand, especially if the ref gets knocked down. But it's just the level of offense that Mike Bailey has that can tip it in his favour. Now, Mike Bailey's one of my favourite wrestlers in the organisation, but I also really do like Trey Miguel. I actually met Trey Miguel when I went to the Impact Glasgow show. And I said to everyone I was excited about going, I actually met Trey Miguel and I had a very good conversation with him. Really nice man. We were just talking about wrestling, and ironically, the one thing he does to a title belt is he defaces it. He marks an X in green spray paint because the Rascals' colours are green and purple. But he marked a green X on the tag titles that they previously had before they lost it to ABC. And I was like, next time you win the X Division title back, can you just deface the whole thing in green and purple X's? Just make it that Rascal Championship. Just do it. And he's like, yeah, I'll do that. So I'm still holding you to that, Trey Miguel. He had a good match on Impact on Thursday at the crossover show in Mexico with AAA. It was Latigo, Toxin, and Trey Miguel in a trios tag main event versus the Motor City Machine Guns, who we're going to talk about very soon, and Vikingo del Hijo, who is a phenomenal wrestler who did wrestle in Impact in 2020. He was there for a show. And that match was picture perfect. Obviously, Trey Miguel got pinned, which gives me the sense that he is going to get the rub of Mike Bailey at Final Resolution. I never said Final Destination because I was watching one of the Final Destination films earlier on, but I'm not going to tell you which one. All I'm going to tell you is it wasn't Final Destination 3 because that one sucks. But Final Resolution, I think Mike Bailey's going to try that tornado kick that he does from the turnbuckle, like from the corner. And I think Trey Miguel will be wise enough to evade. I think he will evade it in the best way. And then he'll hit his double foot stomp for the win. So I'm going to go for Trey Miguel to win. 2024 is going to be another great year for these two. I'm confident of it. I don't often go against Trey Miguel, but and Mike Bailey, I don't go against either of them that often, but just because of the opponent, in the sense that I have to. Up next, it's the culmination of the feud. This one's been going on for quite some time. Rhino versus Moose. Obviously, this stems with Brian Myers as well, who's in the tag team title match. It's a long-running feud between them. This is certainly it. Now, the veteran here obviously is Rhino. Moose has been world champion in Impact before, so is Rhino. Moose proclaims himself as the god of wrestling. And it is Gore versus Spear. Rhino's finisher versus Moose. They both hit fantastic spears. It's going to come down to who hits the best one. The match they had obviously was Monsters Ball of Bound for Glory. It was a fatal four-way that included PCO and it included Macklin, who's not on the card. Now, am I expecting technical wrestling? Absolutely not. Am I expecting 15 minutes of just brawling? Yes. But who do I think is going to win? Do I think it's going to be the number one contender for the world title in Moose? Moose will have the world title match against Alex Shelley at Hard to Kill. The first TNA world title match in years under the TNA name. The new titles will also be presented at Hard to Kill, so I look forward to seeing those. Or will Rhino win the feud? For me, it's all about momentum going into 2024. Moose needs to continue building momentum towards Alex Shelley, who's on a fantastic run himself. So with that, I'm going to go for a Moose victory against Rhino. and I see it with a spear. Our next match. At last, we're now moving on to the premium women's division in pro wrestling, the Knockouts. So, we don't have the tag titles up for grabs here. Killer Kelly and Masha Slamovich are not defending their titles because they're not in the match. Trinity is not defending her title because she faces Jordynne Grace, a hard to kill. The Call Your Shot Gauntlet winner, of course. She called her shot for the Knockouts World title. You have the 3-time champion in Deonna Purrazzo, and you have Giselle Shaw, who is on a whole different level of ability right now, and in terms of work with her character, the quintessential diva as she calls herself, and also the fact that she roasted Rick Steiner on social media, so she deserves my respect for that too, and everyone's respect after what she went through. The Juggernaut Jordynne Grace obviously comes into this one on the back of a win last night. She teamed up with Sexy Star, and she ironically was against Deonna Purrazzo. Deonna and her partner lost by pinfall. And with that trend will continue. When you have Trinity who's coming in off a win as well with Chris Sabin, they were also in a tag match and were victorious. They will not lose at Final Resolution. Trinity turning heel in 2024, I do see, because I think Jordynne Grace is still going to maintain the juggernaut babyface of the division and continue to prove why she's one of, if not the best women's wrestlers on the planet. So with that, I'm going for the victory here of Trinity and Jordynne Grace, and I will say Juggernaut Driver on Giselle Shaw, and probably towards the end you'll have a Purrazzo Trinity standoff, even though Purrazzo cannot challenge Trinity again while she's champion. So for that one, Trinity and Jordynne Grace. Okay, our second of 2 title matches before we discuss the main event, and then after that, I will probably wrap up and go play some wrestling on the PlayStation. But yes, so your second of 2 tag team second of 2 matches is for the tag team titles. ABC, who regained the titles at Bound for Glory from the Rascals, who took the titles from ABC, funnily enough, at Slammiversary. But we have ABC versus Eddie Edwards and Brian Myers, the most professional wrestler, as he calls himself, and, well, one of the 2 Killer Kowalski students, Eddie Edwards, obviously, he's on the main card with his compatriot, of course, Frankie Kazarian, who was taught by the same man, is on the pre-show. So Eddie Edwards is winning in that sense. Eddie Edwards is one of the guys who is like one of the mainstays of the organization. He's been in Impact since 2014. That will continue, of course, into 2024 and beyond. Brian Myers has been in the organization for a couple of years, and he's actually been okay with what he's been asked to do. He's just a veteran, and he's just working his way. I met him as well at the Glasgow show. I met Eddie Edwards as well, by the way. Jordynne Grace, Deonna Purrazzo, got a photo of her, Giselle, Trinity. I met all those guys. I met Rhino, Moose. Most of the guys on this card I've actually met, and they're generally all sound. But Brian's professionalism is something I actually spoke to him about, and he's just saying, like, he just likes the fact that he's regarded as the most professional wrestler, because he's done 1,000 episodes for several wrestling organizations, So he calls himself Mr. 3000. If that's how you want to go for it, then that's fine. That's no issue for me. Mr. 1000 on Raw, Mr. 1000 on SmackDown, Mr. 1000 in Impact several months ago. Quite like it. It works for you. So with this one, ABC obviously are the Motorcycle Machine Guns. They're the premium tag team of Impact. They are the champions 2 times. They're in their second reign. Chris Bay, Ace Austin, obviously ABC is obviously a portion of Bullet Club. So obviously that is one of the long factoring members of Bullet Club. And what you're going to get from this one is legit. Ed Edwards and Brian Myers are going to be run for the hill in terms of speed. If there's one thing Chris Bay and Ace Austin are really good at, it's raising the pace of a match quickly. They work very quick. They work high offense. Chris Bay a little bit more physical than Ace Austin, but Ace Austin's very good in a technical standpoint. So they do complement each other really well as a tag team. And that's obviously important because obviously Ed Edwards and Brian Myers are not a tag team. Now they've been parts of tag teams. Like Ed Edwards obviously was part of the Wolves. Brian Myers obviously teamed with Matt Cardona. He's also been teaming with Moose as well for quite some time. They've put that together as well. So they may be single stars, but they've got tag team experience against a tag team that is just rock solid as a tag team. So do I think we're going to see a title change? Absolutely not. No. I'm going to go flat out ABC to retain this one. But you'll get the nearest of near falls when Ed Edwards hits the Boston Knee Party on Ace Austin. And if anyone wants to know what I mean by the Boston Knee Party, that's his Shining Wizard. And now, in reverse, we now come to your main event. Right here. The Motorcycle Machine Guns, the Impact World Champion Alex Shelley, the 10-time record-breaking X Division Champion Chris Sabin, versus the 2-time Impact / TNA World Champion Josh Alexander, who had the longest and shortest reigns. He holds the distinction of both. And the Ring of Honor, sorry, not Ring of Honor, that's an insult, although he should have been the Ring of Honor. The New Japan World Television Champion, he should have been the Ring of Honor World TV Champion. It was annoying they didn't do it. But the New Japan World TV Champion record run, because he's the only one. This one I'm especially looking forward to because obviously Zach hasn't been in this organization for quite some time. Josh Alexander is in legit. All 4 of these guys are legit in the brackets for best in the world, or in the conversation of being the best. Especially Alex Shelley's in the best run of his entire career, his best matches, his best run of matches as well. The likes of Nick Aldis, Macklin, when he took the title, he defeated Nick Aldis to retain the title. He defeated Josh Alexander to retain the world title at Bound for Glory. He had the TV match with Joshua Gresham. and defeated him to retain his title. One of the most brutal matches that Shelley's actually had all year. And now he's going into 2024 hard to kill when his world title will be rebranded to TNA World Championship again. And he will go up against Moose. He will face Moose for that title. And I think Shelley's likely to lose at that pay-per-view. And if he does, that's fine. I've got nothing against that, although you've got something there, something very special. Especially in 2024 when I do think AJ Styles could return to TNA. Josh Alexander, I think in 2024 will still be champion again. I think he will regain this title. He never lost it. He was forced to vacate due to injury during a long run, longest record run. And Zack is just... If you've never seen a Zack Sabre Jr. match, then I don't know what you've been missing out on. Because he's generally that good. He is the complete package. An amazing promo, amazing technical wrestler, and when he works a limb, you've had it. Like, he is amazing at manipulating joints, limbs, to the point that he could wreck you inside out. He's that good. Now, Alex Shelley obviously is a great psychological wrestler as well. Besides technical, he works psychologically really well. Great offense. He has a magnitude of offense that he uses, and so does Chris Sabin. Now, they have tag team title experience because they've been a tag team since 2007, but they've also had singles reigns of the complete plethora of championships that Impact/TNA has to offer. They've held them all. So they know how to win big matches. And I expect that similarly at Final Resolution. But this is the kind of event where there's no titles on the line. So it's just going to be about 25-30 minutes of pure technical, heavy-hitting wrestling, where they will all try to work each other. They can all do submission style. They all have a submission finish. Josh Alexander has the likes of the ankle lock. Alex Shelley has, people know it as the Rings of Saturn. Chris Sabin, well, it can be literally anything. The guy's that good. And Zack Sabre Jr. can beat you with an E-bar, an armbar, a Fujiwara armbar, an ankle lock, a guillotine. He's the most technical of them all, in my opinion. Zack Sabre Jr. is more technical. But Josh Alexander he's like Perk Angle, but less intensity. And that's no disrespect to Josh Alexander in any way. It's just Perk Angle was more intense. But Josh Alexander has that similarity. And he was a great conversation when I spoke to him in Glasgow as well. He's always high up. He respects the roster. He respects the company. He's always wanted to be a TNA champion because he grew up on TNA. And I hope in 2024 he gets to do what Will Ospreay deserves to do as well. Besides wrestling the TNA ring, is he gets to wrestle AJ Styles. Especially in TNA, because I know that's someone he's always wanted to wrestle. So I hope we see that. But I also think they're going to get the win. I don't think the champions need to get the result here. I think you can get a good performance out of Shelley and Sabin, which you always do. But they don't have a title defense until 2024. So we don't need them to theoretically win. They probably still will. But this is a good thing for Zack Sabre Jr. who's coming in, where you're like, this guy can really get you going. Does he need to be on a losing side though? Not really. And Josh can continue to go into 2024. make himself look strong. So I think he'll get about 25-30 minutes. And I think Zack Sabre Jr. will get the decisive victory over Chris Sabin. So I'm going to go Josh Alexander and Zack Sabre Jr. to win the tag team title main event. Sorry, just the tag team main event, sorry. Now, I mentioned earlier on about returns. And I mentioned that Okada was returning to Impact. Well, I'm going to bring something up that I would like to see. So, let me just bring up the most annoying app in the world, X. Because on my X feed, my own personal account, I put up who I want for Okada to wrestle at Snake Eyes. Okada's also my profile picture on this as well. So let me just get one before. Two seconds, guys. If you haven't seen the promotional video for TNA, TNA's return in 2024, let me know and I'll show you. There's another one as well where Alex Hammerstone is now officially a free agent as of January 1st. I think he could also appear at Hard to Kill. I've specifically said I want to see Alex Hammerstone versus Josh Alexander. But for the actual match itself, I think for Snake Eyes at 2024, and of course these are my edits. It's just annoying, I've got to go through a lot of bloody tweets. Also, check out at the Yellowbone on X. Great account for Impact / TNA. He's another good, like, he's a good account, good mate, and all that. Check out Wrestle Husky as well. These are all like genuine accounts. Like, let myself just enjoy TNA, and we're hardcore TNA fans. But that's what we're getting. So there we go. I finally found my tweet. I apologize. Oh, it's got 20 likes. All right, okay. This tweet banged. Oh, well, it didn't bang, but at least it got some attention. So this is what I think we will see very soon. So I think we might get this in 2024. Share screen. And these are my edits before anyone asks. They're mine. Because everyone knows I like edits. Hang on, wait, what do you mean I don't? I've always followed Okada. Why is it not showing I follow Okada? following this guy for ages, you fucking bastard. How dare you? My ex account's been doing that to people, accounts I've followed or not followed. It actually removes my following, so I don't know why. But then again, though, like, it's a clusterfuck. But yeah, so I've got, hopefully, for Snake Eyes, January 24th, I hope to see this man right here. This is by far the best wrestler on the planet. Now, if you're someone stupid like Jobber Nation, he's going to say somebody in WWE, and he's wrong. This is the best wrestler on the planet. Kazuchika Okada versus the best all-round wrestler that Impact has to offer in the walking weapon, Josh Alexander. Now, me personally, this is what I want to see. Do I think it's going to happen? Highly unlikely. But I hope I get to see this one. Especially considering the ramifications of this match itself and what you've got. And it's 2024, you want to get off to the best start. This is what I want to see. And I think we will. And I certainly hope so as well. I do deserve to see a match like this. Two of my favourites in the ring where I can just sit and watch as a neutral and be like, yes. I've already watched that plenty of times from Impact this year. Where I've been sitting there watching some of my favourites in a neutral setting, like Will Ospreay versus Speedball Mike Bailey at Bound for Glory, for goodness sake. It was one of the best matches I've watched all year. It was that good. But last year, the year before that, 2022, Speedball Mike Bailey faced Josh Alexander for the Impact World title, and they went 60 minutes. Alexander won, but they went 60 minutes. It's a match I recommend people go and watch. Gresham versus Alex Shelley is another one. Great one. There's been some great women's matches, obviously. Deonna Purrazzo versus Mickie James, obviously, is a standard. Jordan Grace versus Deonna stands out as well. But if you've never watched this organization before, check them out, especially because they actually put their full pay-per-views, like classic pay-per-views or recent ones, on their YouTube channel. It's every Tuesday. TNA Tuesdays, as it's called. And you can watch older pay-per-views as well, so that you can see all that. Full episodes are on there as well from Impact. I have, obviously, Impact Plus. I've had Impact Plus for a long time, but I do recommend checking them out. So that is tonight, the final pay-per-view of Impact Wrestling before it goes back to being called TNA Final Resolution. Now, I'm not expecting everybody to say, oh, we're going to watch this because there's other things on. Like, I am a wrestling fan, I'm aware of this. AEW Collision's on. Collision looks good. Andrade versus Bryan Danielson is the marquee match. They've also got the likes of Claudio and heel face Eddie Kingston. Okay, cool. But then you also have, from an NXT side, NXT Deadline's on tonight. So if you want to watch, if you're more likely to watch that, feel free. It looks good. I hope Baron Corbin beats Ilja Dragunov. Sorry, Ailey, just have to put that out there. But that's only because I want Ilja to face Gunther on the main roster for the IC title. I think we've got a good card there, except the fact that Brian Pillman Jr. is on the card because he's absolutely dog shit. So Malo, if you're watching, pal, just a reminder that Brian Pillman Jr., as you call him, Lexus King, he's pish. So that was your Final Resolution preview. Thank you for that. Thank you to everyone that's watched, obviously. It's a pleasure. Get your predictions in. I've got mine. I'm going to be live soon at 10. We'll probably do it. I'll go live at 10 o'clock, or I'll do it tomorrow. We'll do it tomorrow. Tomorrow, yeah. We'll go live on 2K23 and we'll do some more GM mode. We'll see how that goes. It's going to be wild. But we'll see how we do. But in the meantime, for those that have watched tonight, thank you very much. We've gone an hour. I'm happy with that. And I will see you all tomorrow. Stay safe. And have a pleasant wrestling Saturday. Good night.